Nigga, how? Like seriously, I want you to think for a second. If this is the first movie, how the fuck can he always come back? That's like All Might saying, I am here, but he's still a quirkless bum.
Hey, you talking shit?
Nah, I was just yapping the yap type shit. Hey yo, watch your jet, bro, watch your jet. Five Nights at Freddy's, the 2014 horror game that took the world by storm. Somehow, we went from purple guy kills kids and stuffs them into animatronics, to Remnant, some more sci-fi elements, VR game that is in the mind of character in the actual game, books that are canon but not really canon. Whatever the fuck that means, Scott Cawthon. Wait, this isn't William Afton, it's the Mimic? The fuck is a Mimic, bro? Who the fuck is Edwin Murray? Nigga, does that say 9 hours? That's a whole shift. It's 2025 and the FNAF lore is more scrambled up than Kanye's brain. That might have not been very hard of me. He did make Graduation, but you get what I'm trying to say. However, we will not be talking about the FNAF game lore, but instead, we will be talking about how the movies don't make a lick of sense. Since I have never ever seen such a disparity between a critic score and an audience score on Rotten Tomatoes in my life. But you might be asking yourself, Munchie, what do you know about FNAF? Aren't you the anime Sonic guy? Aren't you black? Come on, bruh. Yes, I'm black and like FNAF. And you might be like, what? No way. But let me show y'all how tapped in I am. Off the ripski, we got the original FNAF book trilogy, The Silver Eyes. I copped this thing all the way back in that Scholastic book fair when I was a jit. If you know, you know. The rest, I just copped the cop. I'ma keep it a buck. I copped them for the video. I read them online, but they cool as fuck. Second, we got the sublink to game theory. Matt Pat changed my life. I binged all those theory videos, man, and I was very sad when he retired. Number 3, we got young Munchie playing that FNAF gameplay, bruh. You see this? The passion, the talent, the locked in. Like, I was really doing this. Like, you can't teach this. And 4th, I also did a theory video, but this shit cringe as fuck. So get me to 2K followers on Instagram by the end of the month, and I'll post a link on my story. Hopefully you guys now understand that I really do love Five Nights at Freddy's. But when the Steel Wool era started and Matt Pat retired, shit, I vanished as well. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that the FNAF lore is already convoluted as fuck. So imagine trying to translate it into a film series. Of course it's gonna get a low critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, because the average Joe probably watching this shit and is confused as fuck on why Mike keeps having dreams, why can this child just slash TP everywhere, and is questioning to themselves, why are these animatronics sentient? Because Blumhouse decided to show the missing children's incident in an 8-bit intro instead of adapting it into the movie. Instead, the movie starts off with this middle-aged white man running for his fucking life. I fuck with how they put the iconic Celebrate poster in the background, and that the cameras are game accurate for the most part. The security guard hits the vents like he's an Among Us character, but it's all in vain because he ends up getting cornered. And fun fact, this security guard was originally supposed to be Markiplier. So imagine instead of the average Joe, we could have got the movie's main protagonist is Mike Smith, obviously. And no, he's not William Afton's son. They literally show his family portrait in the movie. Wait a minute, is that Zoran Mabdani? The story focuses on his dynamic with his sister Abby, a girl who has a love for drawing and talks to her non-existent friends. But shit ain't easy because Mike... This nigga is a fucking bum. Bro can't keep a to save his life, and this leads to there being an ongoing custody dispute for Abby between him and her aunt Jane Smith, who wants her only for the financial benefits. Peep her lawyer though, dog. She really thought she was gonna win with him? I have no idea who the actor for this nigga is, but he was low-key a highlight of this movie. I can't lie. Brody was never aware of what planet he was on, out here looking like Zorro. The reason Mike put this Zit's father in a blender is because the way this child's hand was being held triggered his PTSD of his younger brother being taken away by a stranger when he was younger. And ever since this tragic day occurred, he's dedicated his life to studying dream theory in hopes that he'll finally be able to remember what the kidnapper looked like. Dream theory essentially is the movie's version of the 8-bit minigames in the actual FNAF games, since they later let us connect with the missing children. And it's very easy to tell which kid represents which animatronic based on the fit they wearing. But Mike's little bro Garrett is never seen again and is only shown in the very first dream theory scene. If I had a guess, Garrett's probably gonna be revealed as the puppet in the second movie, but that's just a theory. A game theory! really thought they was gonna make a FNAF movie without the GOAT in it? FNAF changed this broke nigga's life to the point where he included Scott Cawthon in his retirement video. He was not gonna let this opportunity slide.
Some people say that, but you know, it's just a theory.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT! Speaking of cameos, Corey X Kenshin also is in this movie. And this scene is funny as shit. Only the samurai could be capable of breaking the black man always dies first in a horror movie stereotype. But Corey fans don't like to talk about this cameo since it was the last video he dropped before the great vanishing of 2024. Never ask a Corey X Kenshin fan about 2024. Those were dark times for the samurai. Dark times indeed. The highlight of this movie is easily Matthew Lillard as William Afton. And yes, the same fucker who played Shaggy in the Scooby-Doo movies is now playing a child murderer. But hey, Tom Holland went from playing Spider-Man to taking back shots. So this not that crazy of a transition. I know I was talking about how the "I always come back" scene makes no sense logically, but I'd be lying if I wasn't hype as fuck when I first saw it. I'm the same nigga that made a 1.5 hour abridged recap on Solo Leveling. I like hype moments in Aura Gang. This whole introduction scene is peak cinema. The way William says, "What is your deal, Mike?" knowing damn well he be stuffing dead kids in furry suits in his free time, and following that up by asking Mike if he's some kind of head case, perfectly displays how serial killers in the real world tend to project their own psychopathy onto others through speech. And don't even get me started on how William's facial expression changes when he sees Mike's last name and realizes that he's talking to Garrett's brother. His whole demeanor does a 180 as he starts being extremely friendly towards Mike. Bro was on his knees trying to beg him to work at Freddy's like that one SpongeBob meme. "Please work at Freddy's, big bro, I need this." Even after Mike says he can't do night shifts, he still gives him his business card. Same level of cope as One Punch Man fans. Congrats guys, episode 8 of season 3 was the highest rated of the season. It was also rated a 5.6. Just let that shit go, bruh. Just let it go. I didn't know that Matthew Lillard was cast as William Afton, since I avoided all spoilers before watching the movie, which is crazy, since Dako was out here creaming his pants whenever he saw Matthew Lillard on screen.
Oh! William Afton! Spring body! Spring body!
Looking back, it's kinda obvious that Mike is talking to William here. His fit literally has the same color scheme of a spring bodysuit. The movie also does a great job at making sure you feel the tension in this scene, but I was also completely shocked when I saw the erase plot twist for the first time. I might just be a chud. Regardless though, anytime I watch this scene, I just want to let it fly. It's so Vanessa, yes, the Vanessa that wears the Vanny mask and the person who we play as in the first VR game who was hyped to be William's successor in the Steel Wool era just to easily be saved, and instead William got revealed to not be dead for the 100th time and is now Burn Trap, or is Burn Trap the Mimic? Who the fuck is this nigga, bro? Real shit. Vanessa is revealed to be Afton's daughter in the movies, and that's okay, since video game movies don't have to be faithful to the source material. Sonic and Mario do a great job at this. The third movie was essentially a retelling of the Sonic Adventure 2 plot, but like 80% of the cast was missing, and Shadow is just an alien from a meteor. But they'll probably retcon this in the future since the Sonic films aren't going anywhere anytime soon. That shit printing bread. Wow, speak of the devil, bro. Till you're 90, Keanu Reeves. Till you're fucking 90. Meanwhile, Mario out here calling the sequel the Galaxy movie, but Bowser Jr. got his magic brush from Sunshine, and Mario and Luigi are chilling in the Sand Kingdom from Odyssey with the Toasterinians. In the poster, Vanessa eventually reveals to Mike that the man who put the kids in the suits was a very cruel man, and says that his name is William Afton. But the photo she gives him is one where he's wearing the Spring Bonnie suit, since they didn't want to spoil the reveal that Steve Rangland is William Afton. But you really expect me to believe this is the only photo you got with your pops? No high school graduation, no family Christmas photos, not even his LinkedIn profile, no nothing? I also forgot to mention that Vanessa is a cop. So you telling me your pops was out here moving like Dexter Morgan and you ain't tell one of your higher ups? Not one time? And then the film expects me to feel shocked when this happens. Like, babe, what you think was gonna happen? You thought he was gonna be like, "Oh, my precious daughter, I can never hurt you." The final girl trope does not apply to you, gang. Sit the fuck down. Another thing this film sucks at explaining to the casual viewer is what the fuck Springlock suits are. She's just like, "Let's see," and the Ella suit chomps her suit off. Light work, no reaction. It's never explained that the Springlock suits are just animatronics that can also be worn by humans. They don't even show that moisture is what causes Springlock failure, since Cupcake just says fuck it and bites William, and this is how he dies. nice. If I was Blumhouse, I would have just pulled a Pokemon and had the sprinklers get triggered somehow so that the suit got wet. That would have been way more faithful to the games than Cupcake looking like 2016 Kyrie hitting the dagger on Curry in the finals. Mike doesn't ever get threatened by the animatronics because the one night he brings Abby to the pizzeria, they take a liking to her. And honestly, this makes a lot of sense because at the end of the day, it's just a whole bunch of kids possessing suits and they look hella friendly. I know y'all seen that one clip of Speed just vibing with Freddy. You tell me if you saw Freddy in real life with zero notion of his history, you'd be scared? That's why I feel so bizarre when you see these friendly ass animatronics be murder machines in the games. Like, man, what did he do to make them niggas that mad? But this also removes the feeling of any stakes in the film. The only time we ever see Mike feel threatened by the animatronics is in a dream sequence. He starts off at the security desk, wakes up to them jumping him in the dream, and when he wakes up, he just spawns in with cuts strapped to the same contraption as the security guard at the start of the film, but is able to miraculously escape at the buzzer. But that nigga Foxy wasn't gonna let him slide that easily. Mike was screaming for his life, but it just cuts back to Abby before we can see what Foxy was gonna do to him. And when it cuts back to Mike, he gets chilling with Vanessa talking about some "I found you and you were badly hurt."
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Like, bitch, you a cop. I know you got 911 on speed dial. You can really end this movie right now if you wanted to. So instead, they decide to show off how scary the animatronics are by showing how these Timu straw hat looking ass niggas fucked around and found out. Peep game real quick. These hooligans enter the kitchen, and off the rip, that boy Bonnie opens his eyes. These niggas keep chatting, and clearly they don't know. This when the movie cuts back to the stage camera, that boy Bonnie already vanished. It was cooked before they even had a chance to start. Victim number 1 thrashing the kitchen, out here looking like Trae Young if he wasn't good at basketball. He peeps that the fridge is acting quite peculiar, and instead of just, I don't know, getting the fuck up out of there, he decides to open the fridge and thought it was sweet because it's just a cupcake. The pans make a huge noise, forcing him to look back, and when he looked back and noticed the cupcake was missing, bro was shook. Yang knew his fate was sealed. Uncle Hank sees that his mans is getting cooked and is like, oh nah, I gotta dip. And dip he does, but he decides to hide in the closet. Pause. But y'all already know, this is Bonnie's home court. He been dropping elite numbers in here since 2014. Another one bites the dust. Homeboy over here sees Bonnie walk out the closet, and I gotta give it to him, since he instantly decides to run. He ends up finding himself in the security office and locks himself in. But Bonnie and Chica got that Bonnie and Clyde chemistry. Y'all see what I did there? And send Cupcake to get him through the vent, but he's able to hold it off, and after a while, he decides to make his great escape. But the locked door in horror movies trope remains undefeated as he turns around and hears that fuck ass. At last, we got the lone female survivor, but she might be slower than 2021 speed, since she sees a kid say, follow me, in an abandoned pizzeria and follows it. I kid you not, you was one right turn away from the exit. You ain't have to enter this room, gang. And to make it worse, she looks at Freddy dead in the eye and grabs one of them cheap chairs you be seeing at the cookout to try and get a closer look at Freddy's endoskeleton. Shorty really saw this and was like, you know what?
That's a great idea. I'm with that.
Was that the bite of 87?
I'm still shocked to this day that a real human being willingly did this. I gotta give it to Blumhouse though. The animatronics look beautiful in this film, and the toy animatronics in the second movie look even better. And don't even get me started with Toy Chica.
What's wrong with you?
The fact they went out of their way to make practical sets and real animatronic shows how passionate the team was to making sure the fans were satisfied. And overall, this was just a great choice. This movie is beautiful, and that's a fact. They had the Employee of the Month board filled with iconic FNAF creators. This nigga Doggo looking more giddy than SpongeBob, bruh. He just happy to be here. They even made Sparky the dog cannon, and Shadow Freddy was just casually chilling right next to him. And yes, that was a Shadow Freddy suit. They got the behind the scenes footage. But the most important Easter egg of all, Trey Young from Temu was wearing a Midnight Motorist shirt. I swear to God, I see a new theory for this minigame damn near every month for the last 7 years. I'm convinced Scott just put this in the movie to make the theorists just want to game end themselves even more. But forget about Midnight Motorist. What the fuck is in that box from FNAF 4? I just wish there was more focus on the actual characters from the games and could give a fuck less about the whole Abby custody battle. Sonic 3 does a great job at this. Tom and Maddie get Shanks level screen time in that movie. To cut things short, the FNAF movies are a great viewing experience as a FNAF fan, but if you're just watching it because you want to have an enjoyable horror movie experience, how do I tell you, gang? Just watch Weapons. Nah, nigga, you better go watch that FNAF 2. It's out in theaters now. Bro, how the fuck are you still alive? And is that a fucking knife?
Phoenix, tell my sauce if I did what you did. Wouldn't even sound right. I got so many kids.